really grateful to be here. Grateful to Rob, grateful to Joe, grateful to just be alive to see old friends. Hear them spit poetry. You know, I be talking shit, you know what I'm saying? And I was talking to Jason Bayani. I went to Sam Sachs's poetry night, and we all just started hanging out. And I just had to stop and look for a minute, you know, just at all of us poets who met like 20 years ago. And I'm like, damn, we had no idea we were choosing long life friends. But look at how smart we were. You know, we chose some pretty solid ground to stand on in our 20s. And, you know, everybody can't say that shit. You know what I'm saying? Some people chose horrible people to be around in their 20s. But we chose to be around thinkers. We chose to be around people who just, and not just thinkers, but people who show up. Community that shows up, that will ride with you, that will march with you, that will like diss other people with you. You know what I'm saying? We chose some righteous people, and I'm just so grateful for this community. I have so much to read, so much to say. I have a book. It's $15, $20 sliding scale. I mean, the book is the book is free. It's the naked person on the picture that costs the $15 and $20. You know what I'm saying? But the book is mostly, it's called Dancing in the Presence of Men. And I wrote it when I was in the deepest grief of grief. I had lost my husband, and people started getting on my nerves, and so I just left. I went to Colombia for years to process it. And in the meantime, between time, I decided to write a book of love and lovers and, you know, just process the loss in it. So some of it is gonna be this. I'll start off with some of my times in Colombia with y'all. Just some poems I came up with there. I went out salsa dancing with this beautiful Black American woman who stood about 6'3" in Colombia. And you know, Colombians are not usually blessed with height, you know, they're not the tallest people. And so she's on this dance floor, and I'm just watching her, and I just grew so envious. And so I called this poem Envidiosa. That tall Black American woman dancing on the dance floor in Bogota, Colombia. She got all these short men in line, accepting the test of her beauty. And she's so Black. Her smile like fire in the dark. It's so beautiful, it's making moths of these men. And they all in line, hoping she will choose them. Hoping they will be timely enough to get a chance at forever with her and her long, long legs. And her midnight skin. And that bonfire smile she be winking with. I'm sitting here smiling at the whole scene, but inside, I'm so jealous. Not of her height or beauty. I'm shorter than she is, but I'm still tall for a woman. I got a compensating beauty, and I'm sexy too. So I ain't jealous of her gorgeous dance, or the long line of short men hoping to get a chance at eons with her. But it's the hope in her shift and twirl. The heartbreaking experiences still light enough for her to only carry on her tongue and nowhere else on her body, a body that hasn't been clotted in trauma, but is saturated in wells of hopeful love, so much so, she magnetizes possibilities. Everything in the air around her, everything she is taking for granted. I envy it. Okay. This one is called The Widow. Death has made every day a mystery. I look forward to wisdom, but have never appreciated the humbling and strengthening road of grief that we all must feel in knowing. Knowing only knows more ignorance. I have just met grief for the first time. I wish to know her surname. I wish to track her prints. I wish to predict her steps so that I can be braced and ready when she comes again. Death has made every day a mystery. Today I am wiser and more in awe of each moment than I have ever been because I hurt. Laughter is truly a joy. I am wiser in pain. Death, on the other hand, has made a fool of me. The around, far gone, nearby is a virus in all things and has made a groom of my husband. They are a couple now, who I have the burden of repeatedly announcing to the world, David and death. Death took David from me. I never knew death had eyes for him until it was too late. I wish death would have compromised and given us a little more time, like I'd seen death do before. I wonder what death said to David. Did they argue about me as they lay? I wonder if grief will visit tomorrow. She is always soon, on her way, strong, full of fatigue and apathy, carrying past packages of present anxieties. Together we will feel sorrow and know things. And knowing will make us thirst in ignorance. And we will feel anguish and grow wiser in it. And we will miraculously get through another day that death has made a mystery. I thought about old lovers in this book, and Lord, yeah. It's called All That Smiling. Oh, woo, don't get me started. Okay, his clothes. His clothes were always as clean as the house, as together as the kids, as good as the meals, as strong as the prayers, as sincere as the smile that greeted him at the front door every night, adorned in new negligees, as fragile as his ego, as thick as my will to be a really good woman to him and only him. And he translated my love language into my slavery. I did all that smiling only to beg and frown. All right, I was in the jungles. One of my jobs in Colombia, I ended up in a jungle teaching English to the Colombian Air Force. So, like, we were literally between Colombia and Venezuela, blocking off narco traffic. Like, we actually had drills in case like drug lords came in. I was like, is anybody gonna teach me how to use a pistol? But it was 300 soldiers there, as this beautiful older black woman who was serving all the meals. And I would always say hi to her because we were the only 2 black women there. So I'm like, hello, hello. And she would just look at me like, whatever. And so I wrote this poem. It's called Reflection in Return. There's one other black woman in this jungle with me. She's older than me. Her eye roll when I say hello is about my father's age. The way she sucks her teeth at my smile come from some West Indian island mid-colonization. But I'm new to her though, because I keep in mind that she is me. She's the part of me that don't love me for no good reason. So I dress pretty every day for her. And I smile and say hello with my whole heart. I won't let her offend or ignore her own mirror. I stay in her face, smiling sincere beauty and love. No matter what I look like, I think of me. I I know even if she forgot that we all we have in this here jungle. Today, I wore a thin flowing dress, oiled my black skin to a shiny marble, matched eyeshadow with headscarf, with stained lipstick. "Que linda," she smiled, telling me how beautiful my scarf is, finally giving me a chance to praise my own reflection in return. Now let's see. This is from a book I'm working on. Ooh. I got 3 manuscripts, okay? If you know somebody who ready to publish, you know, some radical shit, holler at me, okay? This is something I wrote in the jungle. If you know grief, you know that grief is the ultimate gangster. You don't tell it, it runs you. And you get to know yourself in it. And being in a jungle and moving there to get away from grief, and then having it hit you, showing up smiling every day. And then one day you're showing up and it becomes a week where you're showing up and you're not so happy and everybody's saying, "What's wrong?" And you just, "I don't want to talk about it." You know what I'm saying? I came here to not talk about it. This is called La Tristeza. If I had to name my grief anything, I looked at it as the sadness, just this thing. I don't want to say monster, but just this thing that came and it would just consume. I remember in La Jungla, when La Tristeza came, raining too heavy to bag in soft wit and charm, pouring from me. Los Comandantes crumbled, begging me to point at the breaker of my heart so they could punish him. I busted sour, honestly having no one alive to point to anymore. And I refused to discuss La Tristeza, or the wailing seeping through every crack a través de cada barraca, the days of concealment. La Tristeza me inundo silently. All of a sudden, a small shrine of fresh fruits and gifts began to build outside of my door, after it does not open for several days. When it did, my wit scratched, my charm fanged. The sound of my own ugliness, it shocked me, shamed. Sometimes I apologized. Su espíritu está sobre mí. The spirit is on me. Nothing is wrong. All is operating. Estoy siendo purificada. I am being purified. Thank you. All right, so when I was also in Colombia, I wanted to see all the museums. And on my way to one of the museums in Medellin, I was just walking the streets doing whatever. And my homie Pablo, he was meeting me at the museum. I met him there and he was like, "You're coming from the wrong way. And you gotta be careful." And I'm like, "Please, I grew up in East Oakland." And he was like, "No, because you almost ran into the church of prostitutes and it's very dangerous." And I said, "There's a church of prostitutes? Can you take me to the church of prostitutes? Like, I need to see that." So he took me. And the church is called La Virgin, the Virgin. Now, it's an outer door, and then there's an inside. I only saw the outer. I saw the sex workers walking around the Virgin, and men choosing them from around the Virgin. I never saw the inside, but I allowed my imagination to continue on while I wrote this poem. I stand in awe of sweet-faced Holy Ghost next to La Virgin, Next to the horny husbands with tithes and offerings and wives at home praying for the sinners they sponsor. This scene is of bliss, induced from too much sunshine, dancing, and rest. Reminds me I'm as close to heaven as I'm probably ever gonna get. Reminds me my body is also a temple of hustlers and hoes, and I too am a sanctuary and refuge that folk run to and find what has been trafficked like cleric tradition. Church has never been so enticing before this. I think it's the honesty. Before this, I only saw men as preaching thieves hiding their erections behind collars, but here the lights don't work. And hustlers pimp from pews, and someone may be getting sucked where the pulpit should be under this gorgeous hot noonday sun. A shame this is the most memorable service I've ever attended. The shame ain't on the working women, but on the traditional churches who preach only charity and not transaction. Serving a good Godhead is the oldest exchange, if I am not mistaken. Why wasn't I ever taught that a church that isn't a refuge is a tomb? How folks teach Jesus when they're too afraid to be a sanctuary? I've heard folks say they sanctify it like they've got gold genitals between their legs, like they bold enough to fuck a stranger with strangers looking on, like their Bible isn't full of folk as dead as them who don't trust in evolution, yet pray for alteration. This place smells like year-old sex and aguardiente, and is more tolerable than the stench of self-righteous hypocrisy in this heaven. I am greeted in lustful winks. Every request is made known. Every pimp's arms are as open as a wide-eaten ass and stretched like a grace I have never before felt, this close to mercy, so welcomed wholly as I am. I have never been more preserved. I've never felt more saved. Oh. I wrote this one. It's an invoice to the world because they owe me shit, you know, and it's really written out like an invoice. When I publish it, it will be an actual invoice. So, just thinking about my granny and all these beautiful people who died unloved and unacknowledged and overworked. Invoice to the world from Black women, the business. What I want, I deserve. On bended knees, praising apology since the day before I created myself a secret swimming from my daddy's pleasure. Name. My granny already paid the world's entire debt. Bless me to be the one to bring the world the bill. Service. I have rested a bit on the cotton pit. Enjoyed the tobacco, the whiskey until after drunk, fat, busting. Numerous nights I learned patience in pig fat. Salving bloodied white meat, my vertebrae thrashed, gaping with the sick pleasures of others, the hot piss of the church, the tar and feather of this regime, men of all hues trying to shove their dicks inside of the moribund gash in my back, saying my skin begged for the extra slit. Why else would it rip so melodically for their pre-exonerated invasions? Taxes. Many miles endured a parched endurance so long, I've spent so long at love's feet, in hopes to prove that I too am most worthy at love's side. I deserve to bathe in sensual tears too. I deserve to be loved without being conquered. I deserve to be held while strong. Bended knees until bloodied if need be, heart ripped from one own's rib cage in hand with the whole vascular and full signum crucis before being kissed and raised, and someone bowing and willing to die in allegiance to me. Minimum, I deserve sacrifice. All right, we are going to, we're gonna close up soon. Wait a minute, let me see, what is that? Where is this?
Uh-oh.
How is this going?
Yes,
As it should. Empty as floating tea. Okay, that's not it. Hold on, give me a minute. Oh, here it is. So I was living in Minnesota where it's colder. When I came back, when I decided to come back, it was due to the pandemic, the pandemonium. And I literally landed in Minnesota and got quarantined there with a beautiful couple, thank God. Thank God, because I saw couples breaking up in the pandemic like crazy. I was like, man, what if I was with one of them couples that are breaking up? But I was with a very lovely, supportive couple. And I think about 6 weeks after I was back, George Floyd was murdered. And Minnesota was just like, and the couple I was staying with, a couple of white women, and they were like, oh my God. I was like, it's your first time tearing shit up. You'll be okay. I'm from Oakland. We do this all the time, okay? You'll be all right. But after a while, I ended up going to a bar after the pandemic and just processing everything, and everything just came out. I called this poem, These Things. I was drunk at the bar while I was writing this, okay? All right, just to be clear. Tell me a way to tell you my teeth are floating. 40s in the front seat of sanity. It's a lot of last times driving for the first time. At this point, I'm sipping stale nightmares. Calling drunk to dial. Ditching men who call themselves boys as friends at a bar. You can say I'm tired, but I've never picked cotton. Choices pointing to hard tears are irrelevant, at least when they come from this body. Cries, my cries are sealed over backwood blunts that fall alone in a forest of foreign realities that no one hears. Why my face look like a funhouse mirror at the bottom of this bottle? What the carbon been saying about my mama? Have I been fermenting longer than what I am drinking, empty as floating teeth? I once was a sober child, Your Honor, until white headlights blinded me and I crashed, until concrete shook hands with the moon, with me in between, until pipeline tested the intelligence of my third grade rib cage and made me as guilty as my DA in guard. I'm only as responsible as the average slave trade, Your Honor. Only fire-filled rebellion, only antebellum tears of white feminists, only as naked as the field I was first fucked in, only as illegal as women fucking, soft as floating teeth. My safe word is reparations, Your Honor. These chains are not consensual, unconsented rape fantasy, Your Honor. I am rip slurs dripping, bloody body bagged, black at the bottom of a bottle in a white bar in Minnesota. Thinking on these things. I really appreciate you guys. Woo! I love Joyce Lee.
Another round of applause for Joyce. Thank you. Books on the table over there. Thank you, Works. Miller, Cheryl, Stephen, Rubacaba. Thank you all for coming tonight, all of our open mic readers. Happy birthday, Shaka over there. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shaka. All right, stay home, y'all. Take care.
All right. Thanks for coming out. We're right back here actually tomorrow night for Flash Fiction Forum. Right?
Flash Fiction!